Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about new hope for people who suffer with acne. There is specifically a relatively new area of study, research, and treatment from the medical industry when it comes to treating acne and skin and the psychological repercussions of that. And if anybody has felt down and out, if anybody has felt abandoned by the medical system or that their care from a dermatologist hasn't really fit them perfectly, this is amazing because it's a new option for you when it comes to treatment. And it's also something that could really help us understand the connection that our skin has to our mind and our self-image, and that our body and immune system has to the way that our skin and health is overall functioning. And this study is relatively new and it's called Psychodermatology. Psycho meaning of the mind, derm meaning skin, and ology meaning study of. So psychodermatology. And it's this new field of treatment and of research that basically says, what is the connection between the mind and the skin? And what is the connection of your skin to your self-image, to your self-worth, to how you view yourself as a human being? And this really hits me personally, and I wish that this would have existed or that I would have known about it 15 years ago when I first started struggling with acne. I don't know if you know my entire story, but growing up with acne, I had seen 24 dermatologists by the time that I just gave up and I started going off on my own. And let me tell you, some dermatologists were horrible. They would throw me a pill, it would be very reactive. It's like, oh, you have acne, here, take this. And I felt that a lot of people didn't really focus on what's the cause of this, which was very frustrating. Now, there were some dermatologists like Dr. Murad or Dr. Sonia who were phenomenal. But there were some doctors that I felt like would just toss me from one treatment to the next and wouldn't really listen to me. And if I could go back and give my younger self advice, it would be, hey, you're the patient. You pay the doctor. If something isn't working out, or if they're prescribing you pills that aren't safe for you, that are making you sick, that you don't want to take, you have every right to go seek a second opinion. And I wish that I would have stood up for myself more in that sense. But again, having acne and being that insecure and having panic attacks in cars and hiding in my bedroom, I didn't have the self-confidence to speak up for myself. And that's also where psychodermatology comes in, because what about the emotional effects of acne? I'm personally studying because I want to become a dermatologist. I want to be able to help the people medically who have suffered like me. And I believe that I can do that in a various amount of ways, but one way is having an MD degree that I could diagnose and treat people and then look into other options and talk to doctors on a professional level and have them listen to me, about how there might be a connection to what you eat and what happens to your skin. But when I was going through my acne, the emotional toll was unreal. And I would say that the emotional toll, the things that other people said to me and the things that I said to myself, were way worse than the acne itself. The acne that grew on my face, the words took over my mind, just the way acne took over my skin. And they literally controlled my every thought of my everyday. I had issues with depression. I was suicidal, panic attacks, anxiety attacks while I was driving in a car. And there were doctors who would say, is your acne redder? Is it getting better? How is it working? Does it hurt when you sleep? Because if you have acne on your chest, on your back, you can't sleep and you can't apply pressure because the acne physically hurts. And they would ask me questions like that, but no one ever really asked me, how do you feel when James and Anthony point at you in steel drum band and say, ew, look, Cassandra has a pimple on her chest? And how does it feel when you go crying, running to the bathroom, and you start scratching off your skin because you have no idea what else to do, and the pain actually feels more comforting? Nobody bothered to ask me that. And because it affected so much of my life and so much of how I saw myself, I lost my identity as a human. I wasn't Cassandra, who was in steel drum band and really liked science and loves cats. I was literally acne, ugly, worthless, stupid, useless. And I took on that identity. I didn't know who I was or what I enjoyed in life because I literally felt like I was a living burden. And looking at that, I did speak to therapists and psychologists. I needed a lot of help at a certain point in my life. But it's they're treating one thing, dermatologists are treating another. My gut is having problems. It looks like I'm pregnant. My stomach is swelling up. I'm allergic to all the foods I'm eating, so I'm seeing somebody for that. And you just get tossed from one place to the next. And it's exhausting. And then a lot of the doctors, most of the dermatologists that I saw, I didn't feel really understood me. And being someone who's studying medicine, I understand that doctors create a distance so that they don't absorb the emotions from the patient, and so that they can maintain a professional atmosphere, and so that they don't violate HIPAA laws. But at the same time, as a patient, I would have liked a doctor who was more compassionate or more emotional with me. Might not be for everyone, but that's how I felt. And it was frustrating. And that's when I took my skin into my own hands and I said, I'm gonna learn about these things, I'm gonna understand them. And that's why I'm pursuing this career. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, one of the hardest things is sitting down, taking a test, knowing what answer I have to write in order to pass that exam, but knowing that I would treat this in the real world differently. I feel like as a clinician, when I get to that point, I would rather talk to my patient and say, hey, there's this really extreme medication, but it could cause birth defects, and it could stop you from using your joints properly in the future, and it could have neurological and depressive-like symptoms. Are you willing to try diet first, even though it might not be scientifically proven by papers and research yet? A lot of people have seen results. Are you willing to look at your stress levels, at your whole body? And I'm also, now that I've found out about this field of study, I'm like, do I change my entire trajectory? Because I've toyed with being a dietitian, and I've toyed with becoming a therapist or someone who is licensed in certain areas of psychology, because my end goal at the end of the day is to try to help people. Especially those who understand what I've been through and who I understand what those people have been through. But this is a new field of study. And for anyone who does feel that maybe their medical provider isn't doing what they need, or maybe they want to explore a new side of care, or anybody who does feel beaten down by the medical industry just because you've had a bad experience. And again, just because you bite into an apple and it has a worm in it doesn't mean that all apples have worms. There are some amazing dermatologists and doctors out there. But I mean, I did see a couple that really didn't help me. And if those were the only ones I saw, if I didn't go bouncing around and see 24 dermatologists and I thought that that's what dermatologists were, I wouldn't think very highly of them. But it's because I went to all these other ones and met some phenomenal dermatologists, such as Kate Rodan, such as Dr. Sonia, such as Dr. Amy. Like, these people are phenomenal. That gave me new hope. But this entire field of study is new hope. So if you're suffering with acne, if your insurance covers it, or if it's something that you think might help you, don't give up. There are people like me who have gone through it and who have survived. Survived the condition and the words that you say to yourself and the things that you do to yourself. And if you are someone in medicine, or you're young and you're trying to decide what your career is going to be, or you're older and you're deciding that you want to rethink your career because you're not feeling fulfilled, this is a new field that could really help people. Looking at the mind-body connection, therapy, psychology, skincare, science, all in one. And there's a lot of people that could benefit from this, but there's not a lot of providers. And if you feel called to help, look into it. And if you feel like you could use it, look into it. So that being said, that's just some real exciting news and new hope for acne sufferers. And I don't think I've personally ever seen a psychodermatologist. If you are one, or if you know one, please post in the comments and maybe I can do an interview with them and talk a little bit more about what they do and bring you that content. No kitty. But today I feel really good. Hi, honey. But today I feel really good. I feel very hopeful. Oh, and I feel very refreshed. And I hope that you found this video helpful. Post a comment with your experience with acne. What kind of acne did you have? And have you seen a medical professional? And if so, how was that experience? If you learned something or if you feel inspired to, please be sure to let me know. Giving me a thumbs up, hitting the ding dong bell button, it helps me because it shows me what videos are performing and what to talk about. And on a personal level, it also tells me like, hey Cassandra, you don't have to put on pounds of makeup in order to film a really good and helpful video. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do. So know that I absolutely love you from the bottom of my acne scarred heart. And I really can't wait to hear your personal experience with this or any other advice or thoughts that you have or want to share. I love you to pieces, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.